Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 and 1. One good one, one bad one. This was the good one, this was the bad one. It's time for the deciding factor here in today's video review of the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dimension X Robug, the space henchman for none other than Lord Dreg. And if this figure is anything like Lord Dreg, it's gonna be a miss. But that said, I'm not expecting much to come out of this figure, considering that Lord Dreg is supposed to be more superior than this character, or should I say this army here, because it's probably more than just one, okay? But, yeah, I'm expecting this figure to be far worse than Lord Dreg when it comes to articulation, to the paint applications, and, you know, it's just, I'm going to go ahead and just put it down right now. It's going to be a terrible figure. So, you know, I'll give it credit where credit is due. I mean, you know, it looks good from what I'm seeing. At first glance in the packaging, it looks pretty swell. But, like I said, I really feel like this is going to be a miss, but I guess only time will tell. So, enough wasting time. Let's go ahead and get to this video review. But, yeah, you're just going to have to excuse me because I got some gum in my mouth and I really don't feel like spitting it out. Mainly speaking, I don't have a trash can over here, but you know what? I think I can fix that. Just one second. There we go. So, anyway, just moving these figures out of the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the package for Robug, the space henchman for Lord Dreg. Yeah. Dogs will be barking in the background. My apologies, but that's something I cannot deal with. Look at this paint job on this prototype here. Look at that. That is very clean and it's very nice. And then, of course, we got the actual figure here. Doesn't have any of that yellow sporting on this. Unfortunate. But, yeah, that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and get this open and just see how much of a disappointment this figure really is. You would think by now, with the way that I got this figure positioned, that I would totally think he's garbage. Well, you know, in all honesty, it's time for me to eat my own words, because this figure is not a failure. This is actually one of the more successful villains out of the whole entire series. I just said it. There you go. I admit it. This is actually a pretty cool figure. Now, he's not without his flaws, okay? There's some cons, and we will get to it in this review. But that being said, he's already blown Lord Dreg out of the water. I cannot believe that the henchman for Lord Dreg is actually more superior in action figure form when compared to Lord Dreg. There goes my mind. But let me explain why I like this figure so much more than Lord Dreg. And you know what? When I compare him to Lord Dreg, I mean, let's just go ahead and say the whole Dimension X subline so far, because this villain is so freaking cool. So let's get to it. First of all, this design is badass. I really like the way this looks. I love the detail. I love the whole entire sculpt on this thing is just phenomenal. It's definitely a bug creature. It kind of reminds me of those, I think they were called drones in Halo. Yeah, those flying annoying bug creatures from Halo 2. I remember them. That's exactly what this reminds me of. It doesn't look exactly like them, but hey, it's just something similar to me. It's the first thing I can think of, okay? So don't judge me. But yeah, look at that head sculpt. This thing is definitely killer looking. I love it. The eyes are just so weird. They pop out of the head, which is unusual. But hey, for a bug, anything's possible. His antennas curve up, which is kind of interesting. His head goes so far back, which, you know, I kind of like that. There's just so much that's going on with this figure that I could just go on and talk about it for more than 10 minutes, but hey, you know, I'm limited in time, so let's just go ahead and get to everything about this figure. Let's go ahead and talk about one of the cons I've got on this figure, but hey, I will say something does counterattack this, and we'll get to it in just a moment, but check this out. His wings are actually on hinges, as you can see. Look at that. Look, clicks. There's actually clicks. You're not going to hear it too well because it's a very silent click, but yeah, ratchets. There's ratchets to these wings. But the way that this is executed is kind of poor because look how far this actually sticks out from his body. It's so unusual, and it is an eyesore. I will be honest about that. However, that being said, the fact that he's got pre-posed legs actually kind of balances out that little bit of back heaviness to him, so it's not really a big deal for this figure. So there you go. There's some good things about these pre-posed legs. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. So if you don't want the wings sticking up, you can actually just put them down and, you know, out of the way like that. But, nah, I kind of like to stick them out like that just a little bit more. Other things about this figure that I can really talk about is that I still like the way the prototype figure was actually painted. His plasma cannon over here, all this here that's red, supposed to be like a pinkish color. Kind of make it different from actually what's going on here with his actual body design. I mean, he's got red here, red here. This is supposed to be like a laser blaster or, like I said, a plasma cannon. So, you know, this should actually be like purple or pink, but it's not. But, oh well, it is what it is. What are you going to do, right? So, you know, there's not much to really talk about on this figure because it is kind of plain in a way. It is nice detail, but there's not much detail on the figure to really talk about. So let's go ahead and get into his articulation, which is a ball-jointed head. Something that Lord Dreg does not have. Check this out. Ball-jointed shoulders. All around, full 360, in and out, but due to the way that this is executed, no freaking way. Yeah, that's right. He's got kind of a butterfly joint, you know, kind of like the Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures of today, which is interesting. I was not expecting this, not at all. It's just the way that this is actually executed, it makes it possible, and that is just so phenomenal. I cannot believe I just said that. Very, very cool. You know, Lord Dreg didn't have any elbow joints, but you know what? They're actually hidden. This guy does have elbow joints. He does have elbow joints. Something that Lord Dreg does not have. May I remind you one more time. Waist rotation. And the last bit of articulation, not counting the wings, ball jointed legs. And just like the way the shoulders are, they have that butterfly joint effect, which means you can get them to come in like that. Or you can get them to come out like that. You can get them to go so high up or so far back. Like if one of the Ninja Turtles was actually trying to attack from behind, he could just kick them that way without even looking back. Interesting. I'm actually very impressed with this figure. This figure is so cool. It's one of the best figures of the Villains wave of this Dimension X subline. I love it. I can't believe I said that. Excluding knee joints and the fact that he's got that blasted pre-posed feet, which actually counterattacks what's going on here with the back heaviness of the figure because of the way the wings are executed. This figure is great. Phenomenal. I can't believe I actually said that, but it's the honest to God truth. I like this figure so much. He's so cool. I really do like this figure, and this is not a lie. April is a must-buy. This Robug character is a must-buy. Casey Jones is a simple pass. But you know what? 2 good figures out of 3. That is not bad at all. That is the majority right there. So, excluding Casey Jones, you've got yourself a pretty decent wave of really nice Ninja Turtle figures. Very cool. Very well done, Playmates. I can't say any more about it. I gotta say congratulations on this wave. It was a fantastic job. It could have been better, especially with Casey Jones here. But, you know, overall, I like it. This wave is a much long anticipated wave of really good figures. Something that in the execution department, they really put their mind to. They really stepped forward and said, we're going to bring out the best out of this wave. So, there's room for improvement. Don't get me wrong about that. These figures do have their pros, they do have their cons, and their nitpicks. But nitpicks don't really count. But that being said, there's always room for improvement. So, you know, if Playmates Toys will take a little more time, a little more consideration, and maybe a little bit more of a budget into these figures, imagine the possibility. It's just imagine what these figures could truly be in the future. But that said, let's finish off this review with some size comparisons that have been anticipated for quite some time now. So, here are the three figures compared to Lord Dreg. You know, the main villain of this season that is supposed to be more dominant than his Henchman, which apparently the figure is not. Ahaha! Yeah, there's that. But let's keep going. So I'm going to bring in, why not, the Ninja Turtle figures. So, you know, obviously the best Ninja Turtle figures out of this whole series so far, which is none other than the Battle Shell figures. Now, I got a little bit of a complaint. Maybe this is just me. Maybe I don't recall this, but isn't Donatello supposed to be taller than April O'Neil in the cartoon? I want you to just look at that over here real quickly. April's actually taller than Donnie. And, you know, it's not that big of a deal considering that the original Ninja Turtles were actually smaller than humans anyway. So, big whoop. But, you know, I'm looking a little more into scale accuracy here, but it's not exactly hitting home base for me, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe April is actually taller than Dawn. I don't know. But that's a story, maybe a complaint for another day. But overall, there you go, guys. That's going to do it for this review. Well recommended, well recommended. You can skip this one any day. So, questions, comments, you know what to do. Leave it down below in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. If you haven't, please subscribe to this channel for more video reviews from yours truly. And this is the one and only Sonic Ranger signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you whenever you see me.